Yeah, it's working. Okay. All right. If you are seeing this on the replay, skip ahead to minute marker 10. That is when the video will start. Other than that, I'm going to be just doing audio testing and setting up the video and all of those things. I don't want to waste your time, but we're going to cover all of the decoupling information, ETF updates, all of those things that I typically would in the regular roundup that I would do on at the end of the week. I'm just doing it in a live stream this time. So again, you're more than welcome to hang out with me here. I'm not going to be doing much. It's kind of behind the scenes action, but other than that, go ahead and skip ahead to minute marker 10, and we should be getting going on the video. All right. I'm going to mute the mic for a little bit while I set everything up. I'll put the chart up too, so you guys have something to look at other than just my mug doing nothing. If you decide you want to hang out, you know. I don't know if you guys are still hanging out. I've got everything set up. Everything should be buffering in. Got a few minutes. I'll be start making this, or bleh, I can't talk. Here in a couple minutes, few minutes, I'm going to have the stream go live, and I will count it in with you. We can go live together if you're still hanging out. And then I'll give people a couple minutes to get into the stream, get going, and then I'll get going with the information we have, because we have a lot. We got a lot. I've got a lot of information to throw at everyone, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So again, If you haven't skipped forward, I'm guessing you already know you can go to about the 10-minute mark. If not, you're hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys in a couple minutes as I take the stream live, okay? Stepping away from. All right. If you're here with me, we're about to get things going. I'm going to kick off the stream here. Let me turn off my heater in case people can hear it because it's cold. I am cold. All right. We're going to count it in. We're going to go live. Let me get it ready to go here. All right. We are going to take this live in 3, 2, 1. Boom. And we are live. We live with that, though. All right. So we're going to give it a couple minutes. Let people get in the stream here. So yeah, about the 10-minute mark will be perfect. So we're gonna give it a couple minutes. We're gonna let people come in, and we are gonna get going because we got a lot of information for everyone. Thank you for joining. I'll give it a few minutes just to let things get going here. Let people come in. Just now coming to the 8-minute mark if you're rewatching. So you can skip ahead 2 minutes if you like. Welcome, welcome. I'm giving it a couple minutes for everyone to get in here. Who do I have in here this evening so far? Anyone I know? One of my regulars? One of my regulars would have already hit the like button, so it must be someone I don't know. Please feel free to interact in the chat. I'm giving it a couple minutes for more people to join in here. So it is one of my regulars. There's 5 people now. So now people are coming in. Remember, heavily. Chat. Love talking with y'all. Who all's in here? We got 5, 6 so far. 5 or 6? 5 so far. 7. Okay, it's climbing up there. It's Saturday night. Hopefully I get some people I haven't had a chance to talk to yet hopping in the chat. All right, so I'm going to give it one more minute. Let people come in. Excuse me. Give it one more minute. Let people come in here. What's up, buddy? New subscriber. Pleasure to be here. Wonderful. Welcome. Is it Colin? Colin Mendoza. Okay. And we have Cuban Missile. 6'7", he says. All right. Funny story with the whole 6'7" thing. My daughter brought that up to me, so I'm familiar. But one of my videos was stuck. One of my videos I posted, the views was stuck on 666, and the video directly below it was stuck on 777. It was kind of interesting. I took a screenshot of it at one point. All right, so we'll give it 30 more seconds. Let a few more people get in here. If you're new to the streams, if you haven't been in the streams or you've only rewatched, I read every chat. I'm going to be conversing with you guys every step of the way. The entire video today, well, not the entire video, the entire stream today, for the most part, is going to be about ETF updates and the decoupling from BTC, and I'm gonna give people a kind of a broad scope of what it is, because some of you may not understand or may not know what the decoupling from BTC is, or why it's important, or what it might look like, or any of those things. But it is something that's going to be very important if you're here for the long view of XRP. Again, if you're new here, I am here for the long view of XRP and what it's going to be. Not tomorrow, not next week, but what it can be, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and everything in between. Okay, I'm not that 1K XRP pump and chump kind of guy. So moving along, we are going to go ahead and get started with the show. We are 10 minutes in. So as always, if it's your first time here, I appreciate you. Kick back, relax. I ask nothing of you, but if it's your second time, make sure you hit subscribe, smash the like button, and interact in the chat. I am Sam, fingers crossed, race fan. Welcome from Tampa. I remember race fan from Tampa. Let's see here. All right, so we are going to get into it. So what are we talking about? First, I'm going to give you a brief update on ETFs because we've been covering that all week. But so I saw, see, this is weird because I have people telling me it's not confirmed, and then I'm seeing stuff like this saying it is confirmed. So I'm giving you guys all the information. 21 shares joins XRP ETF race with SEC approval, ticker TOXR set to launch. You guys see it here. That was updated on November 12th. And I also saw 21 shares put out a tweet, or whatever they call it on X anymore these days. They put out something there as well, hinting at it. So there's nothing officially confirmed, but it says it's approved by the SEC. So ultimately, it's up to the exchange. And I also saw confirmed for launch on Monday from Bloomberg that we will have Grayscale and Franklin Templeton on Monday. So context to that. Let's hop out of here. Why is this important? We were talking about inflows, or we have been talking about the inflows. Sam, UK, for the second time, appreciate you. We were talking about the inflows. We have been talking about the inflows as far as what's actually physically being removed from the market. And we talked about Bitwise. If you were here recently, we pulled this up yesterday. And we're looking at what has actually been effectively removed from the supply. And right now, Bitwise is at 59.5 million. And going strong. They were at 53 million yesterday when we looked at it. So another 6 million XRP off of supply thanks to the Bitwise ETF. And again, Bitwise was up for what, a day, 2 days, right? And then of course K Capital we looked at, and they had already taken off like 130 million. So between two ETFs in a week and a day for one, a week and a day and a half for one, maybe. Amidst a crash, mind you, right? The entire time, everyone's price is falling. Bitcoin, XRP, Ether, all of them, right? Ethereum, excuse me. All of them are falling. But yet 200 million XRP leaves supply in a week from two ETFs. One of them was only live for 2 days. And these are baby ETFs compared to Franklin Templeton, Grayscale, and God forbid we ever get one from BlackRock. For some reason, Larry Fink and Brad refused to talk to each other about that. I'm guessing it has something to do with the NDAs. My opinion, not financial advice. And again, as always, nothing here is financial advice. It's for educational entertainment purposes only until I finish my Series 65, which is the exam you have to take to get your license to be a financial advisor, which I am working on, but I'm not yet. So I still have to say the disclaimer every single time. Let's see here. Breton Hodge 411. Sup, man? When will we be moon? Appreciate your research. Oh, we'll get to the moon later. I'll talk about that. But let me get through the rest of this first, because I want to talk about something that is important for us to get to the moon. And that's something that a lot of people may not fully understand. And I'm hoping to maybe give you my understanding of it, and you can take it for what you will. And that is the decoupling of XRP from Bitcoin. And we are not going to see the prices and the levels we want to see until that happens. It's just a plain simple fact. Right now, whatever Bitcoin does, XRP follows, and so does the rest of the crypto market, not just XRP. Now, the problem with that is that XRP is a utility token and is really focused around adoption and its technical use case, whereas Bitcoin is more of a digital gold, so to speak. I don't want to downplay Bitcoin because it is the number one crypto, but it doesn't do anything. It's a store of value. The only value it has is what people are willing to pay for it. And we're seeing that reflected in the market. That being said, we're going to step into the first thing before I even get into the decoupling of Bitcoin. I'm going to pull the price chart back up here, and we are going to look at Bitcoin. Let me get the pair, because I showed this in a live stream the other day, and it's very powerful because it paints a very clear picture of what we're dealing with. So this is Bitcoin's chart. As you can see, the shape is very similar to XRP. That being said, we need to look at something very important, guys. If we scroll out to all time, let's see, 4 hours all time. We want to look at Bitcoin all time. All time. Come on. There it goes. Boom. This is Bitcoin all time. If you look at this chart, you can see the volume of how Bitcoin was being traded, right? The amount of volume that was going into Bitcoin. And you can see this steady decline in volume. And if you go here, this was the last real like spike in volume we saw was back in January of 2022. And then right here, we got to the bottom in December of 2022. We were about 15,000. And you look at this run up of Bitcoin since then, it is all hollow. There is no volume behind any of this growth in Bitcoin. So this is where I believe there is an opportunity or a risk, however you want to look at it, for the bottom to fall out of Bitcoin. And when that does, I believe is when we're going to see the decoupling of XRP from Bitcoin. But we have to understand what that means. We have to understand what that means for the rest of crypto as we're looking at it. It's going to be painful, right? Because everything follows Bitcoin until adoption, utility, ETF inflows, all of these things happen. And there's another catalyst to this, another catalyst to the potential fall of Bitcoin, because one of the big things that has Bitcoin so propped up is the treasuries, right? So if we look at the treasuries, here it is. This was a great article. I suggest all of you to look at it. I'm going to pull out some key points that are very important to what we're talking about, but I would suggest you look at a lot of good information. So it's talking about how XRP ETF hopes fade as reclassification fears hit XRP. These reclassification fears hit XRP because they hit Bitcoin. So let me move this down here and get you to the point. Fed policy shift sparks XRP rebound, but November losses persist. Let's see here. That's talking about the rate cuts. Okay, so this is giving you, if you go throughout this whole thing, it gives you information about the rate cuts. It gives you information about the liquidity shocks we've been talking about. This is the part I wanted to really discuss with you, the MSCI consultation trigger. So this was talking, it says, here it is. However, on November 21st, analysts attributed the market I can't say the word, guys. Analysts attributed the market blah, whatever that word is, to the potential reclassification of digital asset treasury companies to funds. So basically what they're talking about is making micro strategies, right? The Bitcoin treasury company, making them reclassify as a security fund like an ETF, right? The classification of listed companies such as Strategy, MSTR, could have dire consequences for Bitcoin and ultimately the broader crypto market because everything follows Bitcoin. XRP's close correlation with Bitcoin was exposed with the token to the MSCI news. So this is why Bitcoin is taking a dump right now, everyone. This is why Bitcoin is crashing along with the rug pull of the rates. And then, the Fed's playing, let's get out of this, right? The Fed's playing double dutch with the rate cuts. Like, we're going to cut, we're not going to cut. We're going to cut, we're not going to cut. No one knows what the Fed's doing because everyone's trying to figure out what Japan's doing. They're basically begging Japan not to hike in December because all of this started unwinding in October, at the very end of October, when Japan said, we're going to start hiking our rates, and everyone started trying to go back to the yen to get out of those bonds that they borrowed cheap. Oh, yeah, the reverse carry trade. You've heard that before, too. So moving along here, what caused it to spike? Hang on. I've got one more piece of information, and then I'm going to come into questions for y'all. I'm going to get all of y'all, I promise. So we move on. I got one more thing I want to touch on that happened here. This is very, very important. So when we pull into this right here, it says XRP is exiting exchanges. Can ETF boost the latest $3.1 billion purchase? Think about that. In the midst of them announcing Grayscale Franklin Templeton and 21 shares. There was a $3.1 billion purchase of XRP. Think about the size of that. That's being purchased by moneymakers. Let's pull up this article. I'm going to read this article here. It says XRP investors recently took advantage of a price drop to massively accumulate the coin, spotted by renowned on-chain analyst Ali Martinez. 1.8 billion XRP were purchased by market participants in recent times. $1.75 emerges as the key support for XRP. As per Ali, this largest volume XRP was acquired when the price fell to $1.75. He considers this level a new key support point for XRP going forward. So think about it. At this time, there was 400 million in XRP being sold by whales, and this wave, this $3.1 billion wave of purchasing, wherever it came from, absorbed it all. So, I mean, that is massive buying amounts. There is preparation going for something, and it hit a wall. But that's all I've got for you as far as that goes. Does anyone have any questions about decoupling from Bitcoin? Because actually, I need to get more into the decoupling from Bitcoin. I didn't cover everything I wanted to cover on that. There's another big piece to that, and that's going to come from utility, adoption, Fed master account, and bank charter. The Fed master account and bank charter are everything. That is what's going to turn the utility on, because as soon as they get that Fed master account, it plugs them into the entire world economy to start settling things behind the scenes. And we're also going to have to see, if we're going to see a true decoupling from Bitcoin, there's a couple of things we're going to see. We're going to see pain in the market. People are going to lose money because if Bitcoin collapses, a lot of things are going to collapse behind it. But that is what's going to grant the opportunity for the money to funnel into the utility tokens. I think we are separating from the traditional crypto cycles, and we have now moved into the adoption phase and the actual utility phase, where these things are starting to be priced based on what they actually can do, not what they speculative could be. So when you have assets like XRP that are backed and used by Ripple, who have massive partnerships and adoption and are actively advocating, for regulation. Regulation is going to be another big piece. Can you imagine what would happen if they came out with regulatory clarity, which we're still waiting on, is expected to be done, hopefully. There's rumors of before Thanksgiving, but hopefully before the end of the year. But could you imagine if they actually classify XRP as a bridge asset, and they turn around and come out and say that these, MicroStrategies has to become a fund, and Bitcoin is just going to crash? What would that do to XRP in that point? So there are very real scenarios and how this can change on a dime, but there's also very real scenarios where it's just going to happen step by step, gradually. Again, I'm not going to come out here and be the pump hype guy, but there are scenarios in which it could happen. And things are lining up very nicely for it to happen. I would love to see it, but I'm not banking on it. But ultimately, the coolest thing about all of it is that it exists. All of these catalysts are real. They all exist. They are all sitting on the doorstep. We can see and point to every single one of them and say, this is going to affect things this way, and this is going to affect things this way. That is reality, guys. And it's just a matter of time. We're waiting on clarity. We're waiting on inflows. To me, it's exciting because it's not a matter of if anymore. It's just a matter of when. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but let me hop into the chat here. Let's get it going, guys. And there's 14 of us, and you're probably all my regulars. But I will tell you, if you want to help the channel grow, the best thing you can do is like and be active in the chat. That's what's going to get this out to more people. The more active the chat is, the more you guys hit the like button, the more we get this thing growing. It's a compounding effect, and I would love to see that happen. We had a stream the other day where there was 150 of us just sitting in here vibing, talking XRP. It was fantastic. So let's see who's in the chat today. I already looked at Cuban Missile. We already looked at I Am Sam. We looked at Race Fan from Tampa. I remember that. Sup, man? When will we go to the moon? Man. Here's when we go to the moon. We go to the moon when we get a Fed master account and we get a bank charter. that's when I think we start seeing us go to the moon. So I'm not going to give you a date, but I will give you those two things because that's what's going to turn the pipes on. My opinion, not financial advice. Let's see here. I just joined. Can you do a very quick recap? Um, Hopefully you got enough of it. But McDowell, I was mainly covering the volume and the hollowness of BTC on the chart, which I think you saw me do the other day. I talked about the ETFs and what's coming up. We had an additional 6 million go into the Bitwise XRP ETF, 6 million XRP since yesterday. That's great. I didn't even pull up Canary Capital. I showed that the 21 shares Franklin Templeton and Grayscale XRP ETFs are all approved to launch on Monday. Whether the exchanges do it or not is one thing. So who knows? One thing I didn't say in that debate that you asked for, things we have heard, is AI replacing crypto. Is AI replacing crypto? Can you be more specific? Because I mean, as far as like the bubble, or I mean, I don't know exactly what you're asking. Let's see here. Let me squeeze back by here. What caused it to spike? What caused what to spike, Henry? I'm not sure what you're asking. Chris Alamo says, hit that like button. I appreciate you, Chris. I appreciate that. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being a fan. Thanks for supporting the channel. Josh B4 free. Yee. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Race fan, what is your take on Caleb and Brown? I am in. Oh, Dealand, not Tampa. I'm sorry. Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown. Is that the Caleb and Brown? That sounds familiar to me. Is that an investment firm or an exchange or something like that? A broker? Let me see. Caleb and Brown. Ah, in Australia, yeah. I don't really have an opinion on Caleb and Brown yet. I'll be honest with you. They have reached out to me. They've actually reached out to me to be one of their people, and to market for them. And I haven't looked into it just yet. I see it now, Ray. So I'm looking at them online now. I did look into them once. I vetted them to see how real they were. They are a real company. I have not done much research beyond that. They did reach out to me they wanted me to be a partner for them. And I've decided not to do any partnerships or any sponsorships or any of that stuff until I accomplish what I want to accomplish in building the channel, to prove that I am, real to y'all and not shoving stuff down your throats trying to sell you stuff. So as far as my opinion on Caleb and Brown, they're a real company. That's about all I got right now. Let's see here. Can XRP on an uptrend? Can XRP break past $2? Yes. I 100% believe XRP can break past $2, and that is going to come from supply. That is going to come from a decreasing supply from these ETFs. And I think, me personally, with 4 additional ETFs, 3 for sure, but potentially 4 additional ETFs going live before Thanksgiving, with each ETF bringing off 100 million XRP in the first week, I think there's a very, very real chance we can start seeing the price rise very quickly, depending on what's happening with these whale transfers. But walking it back to that, we just pointed out the $3.1 billion purchase that happened at $1.75. So there's a safety net for XRP that's being filled with, and I think personally that purchase is moneymakers in preparation for these ETFs. So that way, when these ETFs need to get filled, they go to whomever made this $3.1 billion purchase, they get filled. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is how the game is played. It's just a matter, it's going to slowly rise and slowly build until there's nothing left. And don't forget, we still don't know what's going on, we still don't know how fully things are going to be impacted with ISO 20022 going live today, because that did officially go live today. Again, I told you guys the market wasn't going to flip on a dime with that. Nothing happened, but again, it's still adoption. It's still, utility. It's all part of the story. It's a fluent tapestry, right? We're painting macroeconomics. We're talking psychology. We're talking mechanics. We're talking crystal ball readings a little bit sometimes. It's a fluent tapestry of what we're creating here. Let's see here. Do you ever plan on selling your XRP or keeping it for life and having institutional staking it for you? Well, I've said it just about every live stream, but I am a buy and die kind of guy. I don't plan on selling my XRP. Worst case scenario, I'll borrow against it no more than 20% because I will never be margin called. We saw on October 10th what can happen if you take out too much margin on things. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to be me. I am not going to be margin called. And if XRP does what I think it's going to do over the next 5 years, considering what I have available in my bag, 20% is more than enough for me to reinvest and create more cash flow. Because if you guys are familiar with them, I'm sure a lot of you are, but Coach JV, I also am of the debasement trade theory. I'm not as high on Bitcoin as he is. That's his thing. I think Bitcoin can go the other way, but that's kind of my overall strategy. So I will pull against my XRP no more than 20%, create more cash flow that I can then in turn reinvest, buy insurance protection, and build wealth for my family. That is my millionaire plan. Let's see here. So yes, XRP can certainly break past $2 given the ETF inflows that we have been looking at. I spoke about the broker. I spoke about potentially selling my XRP. Which is not going to happen. And then 7 total will be a game changer. Yes, absolutely. 7 total ETFs at the same time. Think about it. I mean, no altcoin. Bitcoin's the only one that's had more than, I think, 5. No, Bitcoin's had 6. So yeah, no one's XRP will be the first altcoin to have 6 ETFs live at the same time. And again, this is when we're talking about the decoupling, this is important because this again goes into what we were talking about as far as supply shock. Because again, we're going to need a supply shock to have a decoupling, and they're also talking about they need a supply shock to fully launch the utility of XRP. But let's pull this up here. How much XRP is left on exchanges? We're going to ask Google AI today and see what they come up with. All right. So it says approximately 3.8 billion XRP valued at roughly $3.8 billion was available. That's not right. Come on, Google AI. But approximately 3.8 billion valued at 3.8 billion. So let's say they got this wrong and it's double. So let's say, 7 billion, which is really high, but let's say 7 billion was available in exchanges of mid-November, represents a relatively small portion of overall circulating supply and has been decreasing throughout 2024. Declining supply, the amount of XRP held in exchanges has consistently decreased, a trend that suggests investors are moving their assets to private wallets long-term. Don't forget about Treasury companies as well. And then large holders, known as whales, can significantly impact market. A notable event in 2025 involved 583 million XRP leaving exchange wallets. So, it has a breakdown of each one here. It says Binance has approximately 2.17 billion XRP. Bithum has approximately 1.77 billion. Uphold approximately 1.68 billion. So yeah, about 6 billion left on exchanges when it comes to XRP. And we're losing about 100 to 200 million a week with 2 ETFs. So yes, supply shock is a very, very real thing. But I have covered everything. Is there any other question, guys? Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up because things are dying down here. I see people taking off. If you guys want to talk, let's talk. I'll keep going as long as you guys are wanting to chat and hang out. I mean, it's Saturday night. I got nothing better to do. Feel free to ask me anything you like. We'll just open it up to Q&A and I'll keep this going as long as you guys want to talk, but I'm out of stuff for you. Any questions? Any takers? Going once. Don't make me start rapping on this thing. It's painful to watch, I promise you. Your favorite cold wallet? I personally use Treasury. I like the biometrics on it. That's what I use. I have 2 cold wallets, and I also have institutional custody. And then other than that, I do have, my what's it called? My Bifrost wallet. So I have access to the Flare network. And then I never use Coinbase. I just personally don't like it. I know it sounds crazy. So if I have to use an exchange, right now I use Robinhood, and I'll pretty much immediately shift it off Robinhood into one of my other wallets once I make the purchase. What you guys see here on my charts and the account over there is actually my daughter's account. That's where she holds hers. She likes to be able to look at it daily. I tell her she can do it in a wallet, but she likes to look at it on here. I hope Jake is right about his domino theory, 750 by end of the year. I hope he's right too. If it, be honest with you, that would be fantastic. I'll tell you what, if it's 750 by the end of the year, I'm going to be taking a week off and going to Maui. If anyone wants to join me. All right. How about that? We'll have a long view compute get together in Maui if Jake Claver's right. How about that? I'll be there. I'll do it. Yeah, if it's 750 by end of the year, man, that's a pipe dream. That's unthinkable to me. I can't imagine that much money. It's hard. At least not that quick. You're in for Maui, Bretton. All right. Hey, let's go for it. Any other questions? If you're just now joining the stream, there's 15 of us in here. Welcome. I appreciate every single one of you. I've already covered everything that we were going to cover as far as Bitcoin decoupling, but I am certainly open to any questions. We are just hanging out, chilling, having a Saturday night, and feel free to join. You can ask me anything you like. I will answer it. You can argue with me. You can ask me to clarify something. I am down for whatever you got. The only thing I ask is that you participate. Make sure you hit the like button and hang out with us, and let's get going. Let's take a look here. You're in at 750. I'm retiring my great grandkids. Yeah, I think we all are at that point, race fan for sure. Why would 10K XRP be a perfect bag? I keep hearing you need at least 10K. So that came from, if I recall correctly, the 10K XRP came from people assuming that XRP was going to be $1,000. That would give them, excuse me. I think you need $10 million to create your sovereign, like basically to create your own bank. So if the theory is if you had 10,000 XRP and it goes to $1,000, you then therefore have 10 million in wealth, and you can create your own sovereign wealth account and be your own bank. I believe is the concept of that. I could be wrong, but I think that's where people got that number. Because really, there is no perfect bag. It's what's best for you, what's best for your life, and what's going on with you. What I can invest in my bag is going to be different than what Race Fan can invest in his bag, or DM Dowd can invest in his bag, or JMYG2IW. You're going to make it hard on me. Who knows what they can do with their bag? It's all different. The point is that, and this is very, very crucial. I want to take a point this out to all of you. 75% of the United States, and I know not all of you are from the United States, but I can speak on my country. 75% of the United States has zero exposure to cryptocurrency. Okay. Of those 25% that do, 90% of it is in Bitcoin. So the fact that you are here and learning about the utility tokens and paying attention to it and looking beyond the speculation and looking at the mechanics and trying to actually understand deeply, and again, trying to understand deeply what this is, you're already ahead of the curve, everyone. Like, seriously. And I will say this a million times, do your own research, because there's a lot of hype people out there and people accuse me of it, and that's fine. But if you're in my live streams and you watch me at all, I'll be the first person to tell you to do your own research. Don't listen to me. Even I make mistakes. I'm here to create a community and try to bring you guys the best information I can in a fun and entertaining way. That's just me. So I kind of went on a little tirade there, but let's go back to what we're looking at here. I answered my favorite cold wallet. I hope Jake is right. 750. I'm retiring my great grandkids. Shit, 750. I'm partying. We'll be in Maui. Why would I talked about the 10K? DM Dow says thanks. Any advice on gifting family members with a handful of XRP on a cold wallet? I would say don't do it, honestly. Because I mean, if you're gonna do that, remember if you self custody assets, you're at risk of losing them, right? You lose the key phrase, you lose the seed phrase, you lose the cold wallet, you lose those things. I think honestly, I think what you're trying to do is very sweet, and I appreciate, and I can appreciate it because I've also kind of been doing the same thing. I've been getting my daughter involved in crypto because we may be able to see the forest through the trees a little bit differently than people, but in this particular case, because of the security aspect of it, I would say it's better for you to custody that for them and set it aside. You can hold separate cold storage wallets, but I wouldn't put it into someone's hands if they don't know what they're holding and they don't know the risks associated with it. My opinion, not financial advice. Hopefully that makes sense to you. But I do understand the concept of trying to get your family members involved in crypto when so many people are deciding to stick their head in the sand. Price prediction for 2025. I have always said I don't do price predictions. I will do possibilities. I believe and have said that I always thought there would be a ramp up at the end of November, which is where we're getting, going into December, once we have a mass amount of ETFs live, putting pressure on the supply. And I've said that if that happens, which it looks like it is, that I believe $15 to $25 is possible, depending on broader macroeconomic sentiment, right? Because again, I'm not here telling you things are going to be a rocket ship, but I can tell you it looks like the supply is running very, very thin. And when supply goes down and demand is up, price goes up. That's basic economics. And that's what I'm basing that off of. I know it's stupid simple. It's supply and demand. But the thing is I like facts, figures, numbers, and logic. And I could pull numbers off of the ETF websites and see what they are holding. And I can look and see what's being held on exchanges. I mean, I'm looking at basic numbers, and hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I know it's a fairly basic concept, but I'm a basic guy. I like to get rich easy, not get rich hard. And trying to get rich quick is getting rich hard. I like to get rich easy. My personal opinion, not financial advice. DM Dowd says he's buying a house in Maui. I don't know about Maui, but I want to go someplace warm. That's for sure. A beach is in my future if XRP does what we think it's going to do, because I like the warm weather. That's me. Let's see here. I've personally gotten 100 people into XRP. Good for you, JM. Good for you. Spread the word. It's funny. The sentiment seems to be changing. The other day, actually, I mentioned the story. I'm not sure if it was in a short or a different long video, but I mentioned I was at the grocery store and I have an XRP sticker and an XRP Army sticker on my car because I'm that guy. And someone stopped me in the parking lot of the grocery store and they're like, hey, can you tell me about the XRP? I don't really know anything about it, but I've heard about it a couple times. And I was completely floored because I had mentioned XRP to a couple other people before, and they look at me, like I have 8 heads. So I do think the broader sentiment around crypto is changing, and more people are starting to understand and get involved with it. And ultimately, that's why I'm here on YouTube, is to try and help ways. I'm talking like Quipkey. I was just watching Big Bang Theory with my daughter before this, but yeah, I'm trying to raise awareness around XRP. Because I think it's important, and I think this is the best way that I can do that is by getting on here, and there you go, getting on here and spread the XRP gospel. That I'm doing my part. Oh shit, I'm doing my part. So yeah, anything else, guys? It's great. No, I love all of you being here. I appreciate it. I love being able to chat with other like-minded XRP people and share with you my research, and hopefully it's a entertaining and a fun way for you. And any other, I want to hear your theories. Is there any other good theories out there that other than Jake Claver's? I've been talking about my supply and demand and macroeconomics and how everything builds in, but I'm curious if there's any other theories I need to be aware of Or yeah, that's actually great. What are some of the theories that maybe I can provide clarity on for you all? What are some of the things you may be confused on? I would love the opportunity to talk about that stuff. Uh, Let me take a look here while I'm looking at this here. Spread the XRP gospel. I need chats, guys. I need you active in the chat. It's stalling out on me. I'm running out of stuff to talk about. Oh, that's okay. This is always fun too. When you're feeling sad about XRP, and again, anyone new who's coming in, I have already covered all of the information. This is just a group of XRP Army folks that are hanging out, having a good time on a Saturday night. So feel free to contribute to the chat. I ask everyone to contribute to the chat. I will answer any questions you have. I will debunk any XRP myth that you are interested in. But please feel free to engage. Let's go. Let's see here. Robin Hood Legend. Sure. XRP is about to break $2. Oh, it's like I called that in a short earlier. Look at that. It's trying. It bounced off of it right now. We're getting some negative downward pressure. Here, if you guys want, we can look at this together. Let's do some chart analysis together. And we'll see if it breaks $2 live. That would be great. Let's go to that. Let's see here. Let me go to the 1 minute chart and we will do some analysis and see if I think it can even get there. Oh, it's looking good. Just we have flipped the EMA 9. We are definitely applying positive pressure. We have nothing but positive volume. However, we need to be concerned because we are oversold dramatically. However, the thing is when you get to these oversold conditions, this is where price discovery happens. And this is a pretty sharp climb up here in the last 5-10 minutes. So if we need to push through $2 with volume, this is okay. See, it's starting to spike back down. So this is when again, none of this is financial advice, but this is how I read charts. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the chart analysis as it's actually happening in real time. But so what we did, so this blue line is EMA 9. This is what I use to track. This is basically the average of the last 9 candles, whatever you're looking at. So if you're riding above this, it's a positive trend. So even if this were to come back down, as long as it stays above this blue EMA 9 line, we are still with bullish momentum. That being said, the further it stretches away from the EMA 9, the more likely it is to snap back. You need more momentum to get further. When you couple that with being overbought right now, that's what RSI is the relative strength index. When you couple that with being overbought right now, there's a lot of negative pressure. So we need a lot of times when you see these people buying and selling, they're easing the pressure. So we pulled too far away from EMA 9. So now it's pulling back. See, we didn't even get up to $2 to test it. So it pulled too far away. Now it's coming back. It's relieving some of that pressure. It'll probably come all the way back to this blue line, tap it, and then shoot up and test again. I think what's happening right now is it's just kind of relieving some pressure, and then it'll come back, tap EMA 9, and make its run up. But while we wait to see if I am anticipating correctly, you guys can see my analysis if it actually happens while we're watching it. I will go back to the chat. That's pretty cool. So yeah, let's break above $2 right now. I called it earlier today. That'd be great. I don't understand how reverse carry trade and how XRP can be used if the use of XRP for it is just hopium. So XRP is not necessarily dedicated specifically to be used for the reverse carry trade. And I think that's where Jake Claver's propaganda may have got, weaved in incorrectly with people. The reverse carry trade, it will create an unwind, and it does create a need to swap assets with a bridge currency. But the way things have played out is more it's going to be a harder impact on the liquidity needs, right? The speed and the ability to transact and move fast, I think, is going to be more of the nuance on how the reverse carry trade is going to impact the use of XRP. And again, before that can happen, they will have to go in and clarify that XRP is a bridge asset or XRP is a currency so that people aren't paying capital gains taxes every time they buy and sell XRP to use it as a bridge asset. So we're going to see that coming. we're going to get to see that switch before it gets turned on. And when we get that clarity, that's when things are going to, have a massive spike. When we get the regulatory clarity and they actually say what's what crypto asset is what, and when we get that Fed master account and bank charter and they actually are able to turn on the pipes for everyone, those two things are going to be massive. Not to mention when they're talking about reclassifying the Treasury companies potentially as funds, that will destroy Bitcoin like badly. And that again will take away the market with it. But it looks like XRP is deciding to shoot up and test that $2 mark. It might still pull back. I don't think we're gonna, I could be wrong, but with it being so overbought right now, likely it'll pull back and come back and test this EMA line, like I said, but it is riding right above it. So we are still riding the bullish momentum. And until it comes below this, we are riding that bullish momentum. And again, we've been hanging out in this overbought area for quite a bit now. And again, once we get in here, it's indicative that we could go down, but it also means price discovery. And oh, come on, don't tease us. Don't tease us. Give it to me. Give me $2. Give me $2. Give me $2. Oh, she's being a little isn't she? Look at this. Oh, there we go. $2. We're back at $2. Can we get 201? There's 2001. I would love to see 201. But there we go. We are back above $2, everybody. Yay. Everyone feel good about that? I know I feel a little bit better about that. Let's see how long-lived it will be, though. But hey, we got to watch it live happen. That's always fun. And we're back under $2. It was short-lived. I told you I thought this EMA 9 was going to happen here. It's not real until we bust through it with some real volume. We'll have to have at least, probably a 1 hour candle close above this $2 line before we're actually looking at really, really holding it. But it's still a good sign. It is still a good sign. But since, in the spirit of talking about decoupling Bitcoin and XRP, let's see what Bitcoin's doing while we're getting this nice little run up here the last 10, 15 minutes or so. Let me pull up Bitcoin and see what it's doing. Good old BTC. Oh, let's take a look. Bitcoin's shooting up too. So this is why we're getting the spike. So again, not a decoupling yet, but again, as I said before, there's a decoupling. There's gonna be a lot of pain. Bitcoin will have to crash in order for there to be a decoupling. And at that point, XRP is going to feel the pain along with the rest of the crypto market with it. It's something that takes time. A lot of this stuff isn't going to be a switch. The switch is utility and adoption. The switch isn't some magic number in the background. Again, to everyone coming in, welcome, welcome. We have completed all of the information. So if you want to get caught up, feel free to ask anything, engage. XRP and Bitcoin are on the rebound. XRP just broke over $2 and fell back below it. But again, it did break over $2. And any questions, if you want to debunk any myths, if you want to argue me, if you have anything you don't understand, now is the time. I ask that everyone engage in the chat. The more we chat, the more we grow. The more we grow, the more people come in, the better the chat gets, and we can have a party. I want a party in Maui if Jake Claver's right. With the 700, that's one thing we were talking. You can scroll back through the chat. We were talking about that. There's going to be a party in Maui if Jake Claver ends up being right. I don't personally think he's going to be right, but that's just me. Everyone's invited. Every XRP holder is invited. Let's see. Welcome. We just had a nice jump in people coming into the chat. Welcome. I've covered all the information about the decoupling, but if you have any questions, we can hop back into it. It's a bunch of XRP Army folks hanging out, having a good time, asking questions, and I will fight, argue, answer anything you want. Welcome, welcome. BTC sell-off maybe due to miners needing to pay their power bills. So here's the thing, and this is something that I am interested in. I've been wanting to do solar-powered computing centers, and I actually have a business plan for it because I've stated on my live streams before that the most money is made by solving the biggest problems. And when we're talking about AI and cloud computing and Bitcoin mining and all of these things happening in the world, it's very, very clear that power is going to be a huge problem. So absolutely. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think Bitcoin's ultimately going to fail, because we're going to ultimately have to choose what we're going to focus our power supply on, because power will be limited as the AI and crypto and computing, everything builds up with all this AI computing power in these computing centers and these data centers. Everything is electronic, everything is digital. So there is going to be a very, very luxury need for power. My opinion, not financial advice. What else? Anyone else? Welcome. If you're just now joining, welcome. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns, theories, personal questions? If you guys just want to get to know me, anybody. I appreciate you all for coming in. Everyone's still joining. I'm going to keep going. I mean, I'll keep going as long as you guys keep chatting. We got a few more people in. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button and engage in the chat. We've covered all the information, but right now we're just talking and hanging out with each other. And if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. How far do you see it going down before the ETF pump? Oh God, it depends on macroeconomics. Honestly, with that $3.1 billion buy, we just saw it, the $1.75 mark. I don't see it going below that $1.75 wall. There is a massive amount of money waiting there to step in. It's already shown its head twice in two separate crashes. So I'm pretty sure that $1.75 is our low point. I could be very wrong. Again, not financial advice, my opinion. But when you see $3.1 billion stepping in buy at 175, there's some major money there. That's just my opinion. Let's see here. I'm ready to buy more at these levels. Yeah, no, that's what I see. But again, not financial advice. I'm also teaching my kid about crypto. Any advice? How old's your kid? The best advice I could say on that is to keep it simple and keep it fun. If you bore them and beat their head with it, like it's just like when I was teaching my daughter to golf, I just kept it very, very simple, stupid for her, and tried to make it fun. Because ultimately, if they're not having fun and they're not enjoying what they're gonna do, what they're doing, they're gonna get turned off by it. They're not gonna understand the value the same way an adult does. But if you make it fun and engaging, and like for her, she's to me, it's like, you're part of a secret club. Not everyone knows about this. Not every, make it special. Find a way to make it special. That's just my opinion. Let's see here. Do you follow or watch Marty Lucas? No, I can't say I have even heard of that person. What's your handicap in golf? Before or after the strokes? Before I had the strokes, my handicap was about a 10, 9, 10. I usually shoot in like the low 80s. Occasionally I'll break 80 and do the high 70s. But post stroke, after the strokes, I came back and started playing again, and I've worked my way back up into the upper 80s now. So I don't know exactly what my new handicap is per se, but I usually shoot in the upper 80s, and I play the white tees. So I'm not great, but I mean I can, for an old man who had a few strokes, I can still swing it. I ain't mad at it. Golf in Maui. Oh yeah, golf in Maui sounds great. That would be fantastic. Going to Hawaii has always been one of my dream vacation spots. I haven't made it happen yet. It's on my list of things to do. Going to Hawaii, I really want to see all of Europe. So yeah, if I ever, let me rephrase that statement here. If it goes to 750 by the end of the year, but when this finally does happen, because I have no doubt in my mind, when this price does finally appreciate over time, I plan on traveling. I want to see everything. I want to see Asia. I want to see Europe. I want to see Maui. I want to see the Northern Lights in Alaska. I want to see everything. That's my millionaire plan, is to travel and see everything. Any other questions? It seems like the energy's dying down. We're down to 13 people. I think we're losing people. This might be a good time to wrap it up, but I appreciate you all, every single one of you. And I'll see you guys on Monday morning. I'm going to be live with all of the ETFs. We're going to cover everything. We're going to cover the inflows. I'll be price prediction 2025. Again, I did this earlier. I said there is a potential possibility, depending on greater macroeconomics, that we could see between $15 and $25 based on solely supply and demand from what is being removed from ETFs versus what we know is available in supply. Same statement every time. But I appreciate you all, and I will see you all Monday morning as we cover the ETFs live. Take it easy. Later.